Goodbye YouTube. So yeah, it's been like 2 days I think since I've uploaded. Reason being is that I've been pretty busy, and I should probably be doing other things right now. But it's my birthday, and I have to go to work in like 50 minutes, and I don't want to do anything besides narrate a battle because I haven't done that in like 2 days. And yeah, it's my birthday today, September 19th. I am 19 for those of you who are wondering. I feel old. I'll say that right now. I just feel really old. But for those of you who like my Facebook fan page, thank y'all for wishing me a happy birthday. And for those of you who will wish me a happy birthday now, thanks to y'all as well. Also, for those of you who like my Facebook fan page, this is that 46 turn long Yu battle that I had. But trust me guys, this was actually a pretty good battle using a really fun new team that I based around Choice Banded Heracross and Choice Specs Rotom. Cut two Pokemon I've really been wanting to try out in UU again. And then I threw in Subsplit Chandelure, physically defensive Blastoise, special defensive Rhyperior, and standard Choice Scarf Manchow. Now, I don't really think I have anything to talk about, although I was planning to do a showdown live with this team, so if you guys would like me to still do a PS Live with this UU team, I will more than gladly do so. Anyways, again, I gotta go to work soon, so I'm gonna try to narrate this, and it is a bit of a lengthy battle. Anyways, looking at my opponent's team, he has Gligar. Oh, you're gonna see that this thing was such a pain in the ass. Gligar was literally the bane of my existence in this battle. But also, Chandelure could be a major problem, especially if it turns out to be Choice Specs, because nothing on my team is going to appreciate taking a modest Choice Specs Shadow Ball. His wall core between Umbreon, Gligar, Roserade, and Blastoise is going to be severely annoying, but I know as soon as I get rid of Blastoise, I should be able to get on my rocks to wear down Chandelure and Honchkrow, then I should be able to deal with Umbreon, Gligar, and Roserade accordingly. But yeah, with that, let's get this started. Also, if I get rid of Gligar, Heracross is going to put in some work. So I'm going to be leading off with Heracross, as he's going to be leading off with a Honchkrow. Right off the bat, I know I can easily take a Sucker Punch, so I'm going to go straight for the close combat because I don't want to miss Mega Horn, as he does end up making the safe switch by bringing in the Gligar. And I still do a good 23%. I was actually kind of surprised by how much that did. I thought it would do like maybe 15 at most. But he gets up his Stealth Rocks, and this turn, knowing that he's going to switch into Roserade or Umbreon, I'm going to go for the trick. And thankfully, he switches into the more annoying one, which is Umbreon, because now I prevent him from being able to safely recover HP, which means eventually I will be able to get rid of Umbreon. So I bring in my Rhyperior as he goes for the Wish. I make a really dumb play this turn, and I go for the Earthquake. In hindsight, I obviously should have gone for the Stealth Rocks, but yeah, that was just really dumb on my part. Although I do get off 8% on the Roserade, which doesn't really matter. So this turn, predicting him to predict me to stay in, predicting him to go for large spikes and go for the Stealth Rocks, I'm going to predict him to go for the Giga Drain and bring in my Heracross. Then this turn, I'm predicting to bring Gligar, and I'm going to double switch into my Blastoise. That way I can freely spin away these Stealth Rocks, because I know he's not going to want to switch in a Chandelure on a Blastoise, because why would you ever do that? So he does end up making the safe switch into Umbreon, allowing me to spin away the rocks. Then this turn, predicting him just to go for a safe wish, I'm going to bring in Chandelure, and because he went for the wish, I'm thinking, alright, he's going to bring in Blastoise, right? So I'm going to double switch into my Rotom. But no, he actually brings in the Chandelure, predicting me to Fire Blast. And then it turns out that he's Scarfed, because timid Chandelure is not faster than timid Rotom Cut, and he still does a good amount of damage with the Shadow Ball. So I Volt Switch into my Rhyperior, knowing that he's going to be forced to switch out. I'm just going to go for the Stealth Rocks. Then this turn, predicting him to go for his own rocks, I'm going to bring in my Chandelure in the hopes of subbing up as he switches out. But no, he catches me with a Toxic, and you're going to see that this just really hurts my Chandelure, and I'm not gonna lie, that did frustrate me a little bit. So I get off a huge hit on the Umbreon, knowing that he's gonna go for the Protect. I really have no choice but to stay in, and I really don't feel like switching out because Chandelure is gonna knock out something on his team. So I'm gonna stay and go for the Shadow Ball, thinking this is more than enough to knock out Umbreon, but it lived on 5%. Oh, oh, that was frustrating. Well, I am timid Life Orb, so I guess if I was modest Life Orb, I would have knocked out Umbreon, but still, that's a little bit upsetting. As this turn, he predicts me to Fire Blast. I switched into my Rotom. I don't want to take Fire Blast, so I'm going to switch into my Rhyperior, but he makes an excellent play, predicts that, goes for the Shadow Ball, gets this Death Drop, which honestly doesn't matter whatsoever. So this turn, predicted him to bring in Blastoise to spin away the rocks. I'm going to go for the safe Earthquake, and that is exactly what happens. And then this turn, predicting him to go for a Scald or a Rapid Spin, I'm going to switch into my Heracross. The reason being is that I do have Guts on this Heracross, so Close Combat and Mega Horn will be doing even more damage than they already are. So this turn, predicting him to bring in Gligar, I double switch into my Chandelure, and now I'm free to go for a Fire Blast or go for a Shadow Ball. And I get predicted, because I thought that he would just fodder off his Umbreon, but no, he makes an excellent play, predicts the Shadow Ball, switches into Roserade, and my biggest threat to his team is now gone. And I believe at this point he actually said in the chat GG. So the fact that he said that, even though he probably didn't mean it in a bad way, was like, oh, I have to win this. I'm not gonna go down. I need to find some way to break the Great Wall of Gligar. I Stone Edge him as he roosts. I bring in Rotom. Then this turn I'm going to go for the Leaf Storm on the off chance that he predicted me to go for the Volt Switch, predicting him to switch out. But he does make a safe play by foddering off his Umbreon as he brings in the Chandelure. I don't want my Rotom to take any unnecessary damage, so I'm going to switch into my Rhyperior as he actually ends up going for the Fire Blast, which is really great for me because I'm able to take that relatively well. The this turn I believe I do just get up my Stealth Rocks as he ends up bringing back in the Gligar. I don't want to get toxic, I don't want to take an Earthquake, so I'm just going to switch into my Blastoise, but he actually ends up going for his own Stealth Rocks, which is really great for me because now my Blastoise is not going to be worn down by the Toxic. So this turn predicted him to bring in the Roserade, predicting me to go for the Rapid Spin or the Skull, and I'm going to be able to go for the Roar as I actually managed to roar him out into the Honchkrow, and I know that the Brave Bird is coming, so I'm going to make a safe switch into my Rhyperior, which easily takes a hit. Unfortunately, I know Honchkrow like to run Superpower, and nothing on my team switches into any attack from Honchkrow, so at this point I basically have to leave in my Rhyperior for fodder, which really sucks. Although Chandelure is severely weakened, he can only live one more Stealth Rock switch in, and that is say if I prevent Blastoise from spinning, so I have to prevent that. And I bring in my Heracross. I'm just going to go safely for the close combat, and even if he brings in the Gligar as he does now, I'm still going to be able to wear him down on every turn that he goes for the Roost. I can use that free turn to my advantage. So predicting him to go for the Roost, I bring in my Rotom, but he predicts that and goes for the Toxic, and now he puts my Rotom on a timer, which is going to be really bad for me because if I lose Rotom, the only thing I have for his Gligar is going to be my Blastoise, and as long as he has Roserade, Blastoise is really not going to be doing anything in this battle. So I predict him to switch out, and I Volt Switch into my Mancha on the Roserade. Then this turn, knowing that a U-turn won't knock him out, I'm going to go for that, but he actually decides to fodder off his Chandelure, which is actually really good for me. Unfortunately though, with him still having Gligar, I can't spam high jump kick as much as I would like to, because even though I will hit Gligar, it's going to do like 5%. So this turn he brings in the Blastoise, thinking that he could take a close combat to try to spin the rocks away, but no. Choice Banded Heracross is a monster, and I clean knock out the Blastoise, which is really great. As he brings in the Honchkrow, I know the Sucker Punch is coming my way, so I'm going to make the safe switch into my Blastoise, and knowing I will be able to take a Brave Bird, I'm just going to stay in, and I'm going to go for the Scald, I believe, but he actually ends up going for the Superpower. But you're going to see that even if he went for the Brave Bird, that extra bit of damage that he would have got off on my Blastoise really wouldn't have been game-changing, because I believe I would have lived with enough HP to the point where I could have lived 2 more Stealth Rock switchings, and you're going to see that does come into play. As he brings in the Roserade, I'm just going to switch into my Heracross, thinking that he would go for the Giga Drain, but no, he makes an excellent play, predicts that, goes for the Sludge Bomb, and knocks me out, and now I can bring in my Manshell, knowing that he's going to be forced to switch out, and even if he leaves in Roserade, it'll get knocked out by U-turn anyway. I do end up going for the U-turn, and I'm going to U-turn into my Blastoise. Now the reason why I brought in Blastoise over Rotom is because I put him in a position where he has to predict. So what I'm going to do is stay in, go for the Skull, predicting him to predict me to Roar, predicting him to bring in Roserade, and that is exactly what happens. I get off a huge hit with the Scald, then the following turn I'm going to get a higher damage roll, and I'm going to be able to knock him out. And actually, if he had gone for the Brave Bird with Honchkrow earlier on my Blastoise, I would have been in Torrent range, and I would have knocked out Gligar in one hit. But either way, at this point, I'm able to get rid of the Great Wall of Gligar, and I'm going to be able to win the battle with Manchow, and that's going to be the 3-0 victory in my favor once I get rid of this Roserade. So yeah, that was a definitely intense battle. I actually really enjoyed this battle because I was able to overcome my opponent's annoying wall core between who runs Gligar, Umbreon, Roserade, and Blastoise anymore, especially with the Yu-Gi-Oh meta being so offensive nowadays. Either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed the battle. If you did, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to see more content. Also, if you missed my previous showdown live, that should be playing on your screen right now. You can click the video, go check that out once this video is over. And with that, I will see you guys soon. So I am out of here. Later, everybody.